Jester Hairston was a man of many lives, a singer, a teacher, a composer, an arranger, an actor, a storyteller. And people knew his face. Many times they did not know his name.
Music is a language of people. People will sing with you where they won't even talk to you. If they listen to me, I'll make a perform. And I do it through these Negro spirituals.
Jester wrote for the masses. He had a great sense, in fact, an unerring sense, rhythmically.
He thought spirituals were the American contribution to music.
Born in rural North Carolina, Hairston carried the slave songs he learned from his grandmother in his heart wherever he went.
The music is so powerful. It's the sincerity of purpose and the commonality of human relationships, sorrow, hope, aspiration.
It is a historical look of an ethnic group, born out of suffering, born out of loss of hope and hoping for a better situation.
After college, Hairston moves to Harlem, where his professional music career began. He learns from the foremost conductor of choral arrangements of the spiritual at the time, Hall Johnson, and works with him on Broadway and later in Hollywood. Hairston decides to remain in Hollywood and works as a choral arranger with film composer Dmitri Tiomkin.
And I worked for him for 20 years. And that's where I learned music, not in the conservatory.
But Hairston's first love is the spiritual, and he works to preserve them.
He was the authority. He was the person we went to learn the spiritual. Here in Los Angeles, we didn't know very much about Negro music. It wasn't taught in the school system. And Jester, living here, became the bard for knowledge of the spiritual.
Early in my career, he said, you know, you think in things of 1 and 3, and he said, what you need to think of is 2 and 4. So it 1, 2, 1, 2. He said, Bill, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4. He said, no, you want to feel the inner beat, not the outer beat.
He was an international ambassador of goodwill, and but always liked to bring people in to sing. By bringing people, I mean bring the audience in. They always had something to do.
What he presented to people was a human being who was kind and giving and said, you know what, I want to share my music with you, and by sharing my music with you, you're going to have a piece of me.
He was an international ambassador of goodwill.
I think that's where he was most effective across the cultures, bringing more young people learning the spiritual.
At age 85, Hairston joins the cast of the sitcom Amen and brings the spiritual tradition to a new generation.
If we do away with Jester's character in a film, someone else could play the role. If we did away with his character in some television productions, probably someone else could play the role. But with regard to his music, no one could replace what he has done. And from my point of view, I think the most important thing that he did was his preservation of the Negro spiritual.